So let's have a look at text. Now, text is one of the good things and the bad things about Photoshop. To be very honest, if you need to do a lot of text work, do it with Illustrator. Photoshop is not designed for text work, so it does tend to be quite tricky. But let's have a look at it. If you keep in mind how to sort of look at the cursor and so what that tells you, it'll be really, really helpful. So keep an eye on your cursor. So one of the first things we want to do is we're just going to change the text from 24 to 36 points. Now points and pixels tend to be very, very similar, so you don't have to worry about that at the moment. So what we need to do is we're just going to double click on Wheel of Photoshop. You see how quick that was? Let me do that again. First I press T for the text tool, and then I double click right inside it, like that. Okay, so just try that for yourself a few times. Double click, then press Control and Enter to finish what you're doing. Double click, Control and Enter to finish what you're doing. Now watch what happens if I just press Enter. Whoops. Alright, you can see that that actually highlights it, deletes it and goes to a new line. So if you want to select anything, have text selected first, number 1. Number 2, you must have your cursor inside the text. Number 3, when you're finished, press Control and Enter. So please try that just for a few seconds. Now that you're feeling a bit more confident, let's double click on this one, and then we're just going to change this to 36. But what happens if we want 38? Well, we can actually just type that in. So 38, and press Enter. Very, very easy. Control and Enter. I'm just going to zoom in for you so you can see a little bit better. Excellent. Now we want to make some of the text bold, and we're going to make some of the text red, as you can see on the left hand side, and some of the text blue. Now let me just show you, let me draw your attention to this. See how the cursor changes. If I go inside, I lose the box around it, which means I'm editing. If I'm on the left and I click, you'll see on the right hand side now we have a new layer. Now I don't want that. So a lot of people, what they do is they press Control and Enter because they've listened to me well, and then they've got another text layer. So they miss again. Oh no. Control and Enter. They miss again. Oh, there we go. Oh, that was too easy. And they end up with all these layers. I mean, I had one guy who had like 89 of these little layers with nothing inside it. So just be careful where you're putting your text and where you're putting your cursor. So let's just delete those. Pressing Delete and Delete. Right, we're ready now. So this time we know that we need to click inside the text when we want to edit it. Let's highlight the W, and then we need to make it bold. But where is it? Well, we've got a couple of choices. We can actually cheat and go right click, and we can do bold here, which we don't want to do. But what we do want to do is go here on the properties bar and select bold. Now sometimes you may find that bold's not available, and that's just to do with the font, not Photoshop breaking. Next one is Love. Okay, so let's highlight Love, and we need to make it red. So where's the color? Well, normally when I've got a text or any of these selected, something up here helps me. Oh, there it is. So I can click on text, and I'm just going to make it red. Click OK. Now you'll see it's got sort of a weird color because it's black, but just click inside and you'll see it. Brilliant. Now this time I want the exact same blue. I like that blue. It's a good blue. So we're going to select it again. So what we're going to do is we're going to click up here, but instead of trying to find the blue here, alright, which you probably never do, just move your mouse over, click on whatever you want, alright, and then click OK. And that's how you can select another color. Very, very easy. Control and Enter. Now the next thing we want to do is font. We're going to change this font. And just a little bit of tip from me, don't install too many fonts. I did that once, and it took me ages to load up Photoshop every single time, and honestly you will never use them. If you see this, download 100 million fonts for free, don't do it. Only download the fonts that you need. And my advice is to use Google Fonts. Look at those now. I'm just going to click on Google Chrome here, and I've just gone to google.com/fonts. Currently there's 632 free fonts that you can use, which is very, very cool. Alright, and it's a good idea if you want to do some text, we love Photoshop, like that. And then you can start playing with the size and things like that. And then off down here, just sort of choosing the ones you want. Alright, this is a nice one here. Carios Gothic, sounds good. So I can add that to my collection. And then I can click on Use here. And then this is how I use it if I'm doing the coding. And I can click on here to download it as a zip file. When you're downloading it as a zip, you just double click on it when it's downloaded and it will install. But you must restart Photoshop, otherwise you won't be able to select it. Alright, let's go back to Photoshop. And what we're going to do with this one is we're going to select Times New Roman. Now my advice is, you can scroll all the way down, which is fine, but takes you a while. Just press T. Alright, T, and then let me just move down a little bit more, and there it is, Times, and Times New Roman. So by pressing the first letter of your font helps you find it quicker. And there it is, lovely Times New Roman, a classic font if I do say so myself. Right, Control and Enter to finish what we're doing. So we're on a roll now. Now we need to do a selection of text. Now, when you are doing text, please remember that if you want to do one line of text, you just click once. So this is one line. So try that as well. So just click once and do one line. But the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to do like a paragraph. And to do that, what we need to do is I'm just going to open up the paragraphs section here. You can see that this is here. And then what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to copy some of this text and paste it above here. So I'm just going to click inside and then double click, and if you 3 clicks it will select everything. But the best thing is Control and A, or Command and A if you're on a Mac. Then do Command and C and Control and Enter. So let me just do that again. We want to select all the text. So we've got T selected, click in the middle, Control and A, Control and C. It's a wonderful way of selecting your text. So press Control and Enter. Now what we need to do is create a box. So we click and hold, let go, and then Command and V. Now sometimes what happens is if you've had your text set to be very, very, very high previously, you might only see a little bit. So again, Control and A, and then you can select it all. Let me show you what happens if you don't do that. So if I highlight just a bit of text like this, what I can see, and change it down to say 8 pixels, you can see that not all of it was selected. So if you do want to select all the text, make sure that you press Control and A. Easy peasy. There we go, Control and A. Ah, that looks horrible. So Control and A, and then you'll see here, let's make it 14 again. Brilliant. Now the next thing we want to do is affect the leading. Now one thing that is important to remember when you're doing web design is the spacing between the characters and the lines is very important for readability. My advice and my experience tells you that you should never use anything below sort of 14 pixels for the size of your text. If you do, it's just getting too small. 16 is ideal, looks really nice. Now what we want to do is affect some of the line height between here, and then to do that I click three times. I can select everything, but we know it's best to do Control and A. Now what we need to do now is change something about this text. So we can go to Window and we can go to Character or Paragraph. But my favourite is, once you've selected any text, Command and T or Control and T, and that brings you to the Character and the Paragraph window. Now the one that we want is under Character, and you can see this one here, and all I have to do is change it. Now if this is set at 14 pixels, my advice is to go for around about double for the line height, like that. Okay, so that makes it nice and easy, because if you do have a lot of text and people are reading it, it's nice for them to be able to see between the lines as well, just so that it's very clear. So like I said, Control and A, Control and T to bring up Character menu, and then select here for the leading. Easy peasy when you know how. Control and Enter to finish what you're doing. the next thing I want to do is a little trick that I learned on a blog post once, and that's how to have your text nicely spread out, okay, when you're doing sort of navigations and things like that. Because the annoying thing is if you do add another navigation item, for example, articles, then you'd have to shift everything over and it gets a bit annoying. So let me show you this trick. Okay, what we're going to do is we're just going to open up navbar like this, and we're going to have navbar selected here. Now, I want to show you something quickly. If you have your text like this, can you see how it's a circle? The actual icon there is a circle. What that means is it's being very clever and Photoshop can actually write inside it. We don't want that. What we want to do is actually click outside like this and then move it in. So, now we've got that selected, we're going to click and drag a box. And this box says how wide our text can go. So we want it to stay within the navigation bar. So click and drag and make a text box like this. Then let go. Okay. Now the thing is, when we start typing, we can see it. So we're going to go home, space, about, space, services, space, portfolio, space, and then contact. But as you can see, it doesn't quite work. Now what we need to do is we need to get this inside and we need to get it nicely aligned. So I'm going to show you a little trick. Highlight and then go to paragraph and use justify. Click, look at that. Nicely spaced out in one click. And then if I now move my mouse down like this, you can see that it becomes a sort of move icon like here, the top left. If I move it here, we start to do this. Alright, so I just can bring it down. Oh, look at that, it's perfect. And now we need to change the color to white. Click on there and click OK. So just click in the middle. Beautiful, look at that. Oh, we forgot to put articles. No problem. Space, articles. And look how nicely it's spaced out. Control and enter. And you can give yourself a little pat on the back. Oh, go on, pat on the back. So now you've finished patting yourself on the back, we need to worry about things like this. Okay, if I go to about us, oh no, if it's two words it messes everything up. Well, let me show you how to fix it. So, I'm just going to put us together. Oh. And then I'm just going to zoom in just so I can show you how to do this. Alright, so if you do have about us together like this, just select the T and then go to character and we're going to increase this a lot. A bit more, look at that, 420. Alright, control and enter, zoom out, and there you go, about us is working. So if you do need to have two words in one of your navigation items, you can use the character spacing on the last one before the second word, and you can add space to make it look brilliant. So please try that yourself, have a go. Text can be a bit tricky, a bit of a pain, but once you get it, it's a nice tool to have.